It's a
So with
tough
the AFC
division.
North, yeah, this was a tough one. It's a tough
Yeah.
one, and I think when we get to our playoffs prediction, this division will come about too. But yeah, so the AFC North, the finish was last year: Cincinnati 12-4, Baltimore 10-7, Pittsburgh 9-8, Cleveland 7-10. A lot of people are toting this as the best division in football right now, which it has a case to be for sure. We definitely have heavy hitters, especially with Pittsburgh has been solid still, and I think they're gonna be solid
Sure.
again this year, especially with a second year quarterback. So I'll start off with mine shit. And for this one, I have Cincinnati. Well, all right, let me start off from four. I got Cleveland finishing fourth place again.
Okay.
Now we're gonna see what Deshaun Watson do
Chill, chill,
this
chill,
year. This year. But I think
chill,
I
chill,
think
chill.
I think this season really lies in his hands and
Yeah.
and how like it's all on Deshaun Watson. I think the run game is there. They had the receivers. They had the pass rush. There's still a couple of question marks on defense for me, but they had the pass rush. That shit is legit.
Mhm.
I think it's going to go as far as Deshaun Watson takes him. He's been out it like he played it in the last season. It didn't look good. It didn't look inspiring. So he gonna have to show me. But until then, I got Cleveland 4. I got Baltimore finishing third. Just because,
Mm.
yeah, I could be wrong about this. And this Baltimore has they could finish first. That's the crazy
Mhm.
part about this division. Like they legit could finish first with a good,
Mhm.
like great record. But I do want to see some questions answered, especially with their receiving core as well. Make sure it comes to fruition. Of course, we got two new additions there with Zay and OBJ for Lamar.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, show us something then, Lamar. So that's where I'm at with it. And then Pittsburgh, second. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have a good season this year. George Pickens got better. The defense is solid still. They got
Still.
they got heavy hitters at every level.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pick against them, especially with Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
And I think he has a damn good case to be coach of the year, but we'll predict that later as well.
Okay.
And then first Cincinnati, I just can't pick them lower than first right now. I think Joe Burrow, he was at practice today, so he's on the track to
Yep.
be back week 1. Glad to see that. We still got another week and a half, so a lot of time left. He still got the best receiving core in football, I would say.
Best. Yeah. Best.
Best.
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
up there.
it's up there at least.
I
The
says.
defense and the offensive line, of course, been question marks, and we'll see. It's hard to judge offensive line in preseason, and we got to judge it throughout the season, especially because they made additions last year,
Yeah.
and Joe Burrow still got sacked 40 something times. So it's
Yeah.
just we're gonna have to see with that. But I still believe in him. I still believe in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and them boys. So yeah.
Okay. You want to go, Chris? You want me to take it?
I go. Fourth place. I don't even want to do it, but I got the Steelers in fourth place.
Oh.
I actually do have the Steelers in fourth place. For whatever reason, it is something about their offense I just don't like. Their defense has always been solid, and I understand, they got TJ Watt back last year. He was out for a significant amount of time. But as far as just overall team, I just don't believe in their offense at all. They had to show me something different for them. For the Browns, I got the Browns third. Their defense, in my opinion, is legit, and the fact they got Jim Schwartz, and I know Jim Schwartz because I'm an Eagles fan, so he's a
Of
D
course.
coordinator, and all he cares about is getting that front four together. And with Myles Garrett, who's arguably one of the best defensive edge rushers, I think it's gonna unlock something new that we ain't seen before. It sounds crazy, but I think that
Hell,
defense is gonna hold it down.
it don't sound too crazy.
I think with Deshaun Watson getting at least a year into Kevin Stefanski offense, I think he'll be much better than he was last year. Especially last year, he only played half the games last year.
Six games, I think.
6, yeah, not even that. Yeah, like
Yeah,
6.
so
Yeah.
I think they'll take a step forward. Number 2, I actually flipped it probably not too long ago. Number 2, I got the Bengals.
Okay.
Oh,
I got the Bengals, and this is solely because number 1, I think Lamar will come out here and do something crazy.
Mhm.
And he got OBJ, with spoiler alert, comeback player of the year. But I think it's because the reason why I have the Ravens in front of the Bengals because I just believe in the Ravens. I think Lamar is really about to show up.
Yeah.
and show out this year. So that's what I got.
Okay. So we got the exact same 4 actually, but that was tough. I had the exact same 4 as you, Chris, with the Steelers being 4, Browns being 3, Cincy being 2, and Baltimore being 1. This was the toughest division to go. Well, I actually thought that Baltimore was going to be 1 no matter what, but I did flip flop between the order for the Steelers, the Browns, and the Bengals. I do think that the Bengals could possibly be due for kind of a rough season, but I still have them making the playoffs. But I do think there's a possibility for a rough season with Joe Burrow once again not having that training camp, even though he's obviously gone to the Super Bowl, gone to AFC Championship back-to-back seasons without having that training camp or been hurt through most of it. But they've lost some key pieces on defense with Jesse Bates going to the Falcons and Eli Apple with everybody be hating on Eli Apple, but Eli Apple was a starting quarterback in the Super Bowl.
He's a vet.
He's
He's a
solid.
vet. So I mean, yeah.
But I agree with Chris. I think Lamar's gonna have a season very similar to his MVP season, right up there with those, right around that 36 touchdowns. I think he had 36, 37, 38. I do think that his passing yardage will increase a little bit, with his rushing yardage probably decreasing a little bit. But I think he's due for a great season. He's probably heard all the talk about how he can't stay healthy, how he's probably not worth the contract. And, he finally's got receivers. He's had good receivers with Hollywood Brown, really Hollywood Brown. But now he's actually got depth with OBJ. Zay Flowers looks like he's going to be a good rookie receiver this year. They obviously have Bateman coming back, and then Nelson Aguilar with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, which, he was a kind of a star coming out of the training camp last year at the tight end position. Nobody's really talked about him this year, but, we can see how things go. I think the defense, they're probably start off a little rough. I think Marlon Humphrey's still out for the time being, and he might miss that first game, but they still, their front seven is still good. They still got Marcus Williams in the back. Kyle Hamilton could possibly take a step in his second year as safety.
I am excited to see Kyle Hamilton, and that was my question about this team too, because I wanted to put them first, but again, Marlon Humphrey is. Hopefully he misses just one game. Hopefully he doesn't with his injury. I think it's a foot injury. Hopefully he doesn't re-injure that. I really want to see Marlon Humphrey on the field.
Yeah,
but yeah, the secondary, I don't really rock with Yasin, but
wow, lot.
But I know, that's your boy. All right, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, and I could see this division honestly having 3. I could see 2 wild cards come out of this division.
I could see 4, honestly. Ooh. That's how crazy it is. Like this division is crazy. I think it. Like I said, I really think that Baltimore is going to be the division winner. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's flip flop anyway, where the Steelers are number 1, or the Browns are number 1, or the Bengals are number 1. That's how good this division is. I think that Chris was talking about how he doesn't like the Steelers offense. Last year, I would have said that, but this year, I think, Deontay Johnson's a really good receiver, is kind of underrated. You got George Pickens. Everybody's talking about George Pickens, and Deontay Johnson's still probably the number 1 there, and he's not even talked about enough. Pat Freiermuth, and Najee Harris.
Najee coming out the backfield still, so,
yeah. I still think the Steelers can make some noise, as they always do. And then that defense, you got 2 Hall of Famers with Cam. Well, really 3, because they got Pat P over there now. But, you got Cam Hayward and TJ Watt making plays. So I think it's going to be a tough division. It's going to be a great year for that whole division to watch that. So
I can't wait to see it for sure.
And I think it get popping early, because the Browns and Bengals play first game, and then the Bengals play the Ravens like the second game of the season. Yeah. So it gets started early.
It's hard to take too much stock into the first couple of games, especially with the whole. Well, real quick, what's y'all thoughts on the preseason? Now that we're finished with it, thoughts with the starters not a lot of starters not playing this year. They bumped it down to 3 games, and we still don't see mainly all the starters. And then because Chris and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago or so, where back in I hate to say back in the day, we old, but when we used to wait for that 3rd preseason game, that was the real tune up, and they used to play until halftime, sometimes coming out of halftime for one drive and then hang it up, skip out the 4th game for the for the bubble guys. and then get into the season. But like now it's like all these, like you got Pittsburgh saying, okay, I want to play my guys. Mike Tomlin saying I want to play my guys. Then you got flip side where other teams are like, and then like some starters didn't play at all in any 3 games. And if they do, they play in 1 possession.
I agree with Mike Tomlin. You got to get reps. You got to get reps. You got to get practice. You got to get live reps. Obviously, I think guys should sit if, they have nagging injuries or, stuff like that, stuff lingering. Obviously, don't risk that. But also, I mean, this is going a little deeper into getting deep into the wormhole. But, I think looking back at history and looking compared to now with everything having those turf fields, I think the turf fields really mess up people's knees. So I think that has a lot to do with it, even though it's not talked about enough. Obviously, they have turf field for performance and speed and cutting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I think that not playing on natural grass also has a little factor into that because we're seeing a lot more knee injuries, ACLs, and stuff like that. So
I agree with that.
No, I mean, I get the reason. I hate it though, because again, Eagles is one of the teams that we didn't play none of our starters the entire time, and it's like, okay, we just went to Super Bowl, but like you said, you need the reps. I mean, their idea is, okay, well, we do joint practices. You can, I guess game plan an actual like particular moment that might happen in the game, but you still need game reps because. That moment might not ever happen. Some other moment might happen and you wasn't thinking about it. I just think that, it gives, I mean, when you don't have your starters in, it feels like you're not giving nobody else opportunity to, win a job for real.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they already established. They ain't got to do nothing.
Facts.
I can go out there. It is what it is. We know who we need, who's our starters. I mean, at least 2-3 series in one game. That's all I'm asking for.
That's what kind of made me mad about the Falcons, because like in the game that Dez he played 1 series in the second game, but in the third game they sat like 35 players. Yeah. That's more than both sides of starters. So going to what you're saying, Chris, it's like, you can't even compete for a backup because your backup's already set. Basically, is what you're telling me. It's like.
And in the situation of the Falcons, I would definitely never sit a young team like that. Obviously, like Drake London and Ritter got to play last year on the field, like in live reps, live games, but Kyle Pitts was out. It's a different group of receivers. Bijan, he wasn't there, obviously. So, and then in the case of the Eagles, I mean, both coordinators are gone. So you still need to figure out
reps.
how the flow. More so than the players, like the coordinators now, the new coordinators need those reps. The new play callers need those reps. So,
that's a good point.
I think I agree. Like I said, from the top, I agree with Tomlin. Like you need reps. So I think they should do it. But
we'll see how they treat these first couple of. Well, yeah, right. We'll see how they treat these first couple of weeks, though. But yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting because I know, you know how overreaction season gets in this first 3 weeks of the season. So.
Yeah, exactly.